Hi, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly, play-by-play voice for the Charlotte Rush. We are in the coach's office of the Charlotte Rush here at the Extreme Ice Center on this Wednesday, March the 6th. We want to do a season recap on the Charlotte Rush Elite team, and to do that, let's bring in the head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite, Trevor Jewell. And Trevor, the Elite team finished a little bit short of what we had hoped for, but before we talk about the two very close games against Hampton Roads in the first round of the playoffs, this was a very young Elite team, but how do you feel they progressed throughout the season?
I mean, I thought they progressed pretty well. In my time here, I thought they developed a little bit more. They got stronger. They got a little bit more physical. They learned a lot. They matured a little bit in a short time. And again, I thought where they ended up is not indicative of what the work they put in and the effort they gave us this season. So, very happy with where they're at and with the guys we would have returning.
And Trevor, let's talk about those two games in Hampton Roads against the Whalers. Man, the defense played great. It was 2 one-goal losses. Let's talk about the first game. Luke Dobles got the goal, but 2 given up. But, man, a very close game. Could have went either way.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Foxy played extremely well all weekend, and then our defense played, for the most part, pretty good. We had some lapses in our game, took some penalties we probably shouldn't have taken, and essentially gave up two power play goals against Hampton there to lose that game. And that says a lot about Foxy's play and being able to play the way he did and only surrender 2 power play goals. I mean, one's a missed missed assignment off a face-off in the D zone, and then obviously the other one's the kid bats it out of the air. There's not much you can do there. So I was very happy with his play, but at the same time, we had to stay out of the box. That was one of our keys to the weekend, and unfortunately we didn't do that.
Game 2, another one-goal loss for the Rush, 3-2. Marcel Hack and Sky Swavely had the goals, and a little bit more scoring, but still pretty much like Game 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought we played a lot better that game, to be honest. I think we carried the play almost the entire game, and we did everything we wanted to do. And then, Robo gets hooked on a breakaway, and they don't call anything. And on the ensuing play back up ice, decides to call an interference penalty on us, and they pulled it. I mean, with a minute and a half left, I mean, to call that after you decide not to call the hooking penalty, and then they score 6-on-4 in the last minute, in the last 13 seconds or so. That. To me, that's just, unfortunately, if you're a ref, I mean, sorry, but there's at a point in time, if you're not going to make one call, you can't make the other. I mean, you have to be consistent in what you do. So, in no way do I want to blame the refs, but that game was extremely, at least in the last few minutes, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, you can go back online, look at anything on Twitter. I mean, parents are in an uproar. You got other teams claiming how bad it was. I mean, it's shocking, but. So people, at least I am not the only one that saw that for once. Obviously I'm a coach, so I'm a little bit harder on refs, but to see other people and hear other people say some things about it as well, I mean, it's makes you feel a little bit better as a coach knowing that you're not the only one that's upset with that. And I kind of felt bad for the kids because, there's kids on that team that were playing their last game, and to have it go down like that the way it did, it's just unfair to them and all the things they've given us the past couple of years. So, I felt bad for our guys that don't get to play another junior hockey game. I felt bad for our guys that, made it as far as they did last season and losing in a league championship over, an overtime game on a bad break goal. So I feel bad for those guys, but at the same time, we didn't play the best we could have all weekend, and it showed. And Hampton is a good team, so not taking anything away from them. But at the end of the day, I thought we could have played better, but we didn't execute, and we took penalties when we shouldn't have. So unfortunately, that's how the game works.
Tough way to end it when things are out of your control, but about 10 days ago, the Rush Elite season did come to an end, but a very good effort by the guys, just losing by 1 goal in each game in Hampton Roads, on the road to a very good Hampton Roads team. I'm Tim Donnelly. We're talking to Charlotte Rush Elite head coach Trevor Jewell. Trevor, we got to look at some positives, though. Look at the guys that came from this elite team this year. Some of them advanced kind of in the offseason to the premier team, and others did it in the middle of the season. But look at some of the guys that this elite team lost. Julian Miranda, Jimmy O'Kane, Kyle Prestis, Joey Farrow, Davis Smith, Adam Meister, Anthony Keating, Johnny Barrett, and Ryan Newman were all guys that were elite last year and advanced up there. So you lost a pretty good nucleus of players.
I mean, if you look back at it, that's almost half a team.
Right.
but that's kudos to them for buying into our system and developing the way we wanted them to, and some of them maybe developing a little bit faster than we expected. So I'm proud of where they've come from and where they're at now and what they've been able to do as players and as people. So that's what we're here for, and that's what our program does. We develop players and we move them on, whether it's to our premier team or the North American League or college. I mean, that's why kids come play here, and that's what we want to do. That's all I worry about at the end of the day, is where my guys are going to end up and how they're going to develop. I mean, and we believe that our culture and our development is what translates to wins on the weekends.
Trevor, one last question about the elite team. As you look ahead for 2019 and 20, there'll be a lot of these young guys, first-year guys that will come back, and certainly they will have benefited from the season this year and also the tough playoff series. So some good things to look forward to for next season in that regard.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they'll come back more mature. They'll come back with probably less nerves than they've had this year, and they'll be ready to go and play another full season and be ready for anything that comes their way, and that's part of a maturity factor coming out of youth hockey and things like that. So there's good and bad to take out of everything that happened this season. So I'm happy with what we have coming back, and I'm happy with where their development is. But at the same time, they got to make sure they're doing the things that are expected of them in the off season.
Always good to make the playoffs, and the Rush Elite team did that again this year. One final comment I want to get some input from Trevor Jewell. A lot of folks don't realize what Trevor went through this year. Trevor was actually the fourth head coach of the Charlotte Rush this year. At the end of last year, Ryan Crothers was going to come back, and then he got a very good opportunity to coach in the North American Hockey League in Corpus Christi. And there were two different people that were coaching initially, and then Ryan sent you here, Trevor. So you were the fourth coach. Now, you knew some of the guys, but you didn't know everybody. You came in here. You were also going back and forth when the Rush wasn't playing to Corpus Christi, so you were actually coaching two teams. And Trevor, I just say this because it's true, but with all that, you did a marvelous job with the elite team this year with all that other stuff in the background.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, but it's on the kids for wanting to buy in and learn on a daily basis, so I appreciate that.
Trevor, how tough was it, though, you think about that, coming in November? Again, you've been here. Some of the guys knew you, but then the other guys didn't. And then the back and forth and all the travel, just how tough was that on you?
To be honest, it's never tough when you're doing something you love, so you can't complain. I have, unlike most people, I have three teams that I love and love to work with on a daily basis. So I consider myself pretty lucky, and I'm always fortunate to work with some of the kids I work with and work with the people I work with. So can't thank the players enough, can't thank John Keating enough, Ryan, and players for every one of my teams. It's been a blast, and unfortunately one team had to end a little bit sooner than the others, and it is what it is, but look forward to seeing where they end up next season.
Well, Trevor, again, you and the coaching staff, great job with all those other factors to lead the elite team to the playoffs and then just lose a couple of one-goal games with maybe some questionable officiating in that last game. So congrats on that. And you'll be heading up to Boston, though, for the premier team, so your job isn't over here with the Rush. But thanks so much for spending some time with us and giving us a recap and a look in the future for the Charlotte Rush Elite.
Of course, thank you.
All right, Trevor Jewell, head coach of the Charlotte Rush Elite. Again, you can go to our social media platforms to get continued information, updated information on the Charlotte Rush. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also our Charlotte Rush YouTube channel and our Charlotte Rush website. I want to thank Ryan Newman from the Charlotte Rush Premier Team for running our camera here today. I'm Tim Donnelly, play-by-play voice for the Charlotte Rush. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.